fans, Braden Suprenant here with Adam Paul. We just wrapped up La Jolla Country Day Coronado here moments ago. Coronado won 7-4 over the Tories. A little bit of Coronado jumped up to an early lead. Then we had some errors by the Tories, then errors by Coronado. La Jolla Country Day almost came back. They had the tying run at the plate. Were unable to get any more runs, and the Islanders won the game. What did impress you most out of the Islanders, who remain undefeated?
They got the timely hits. Moved the base runners, along like you're supposed, like you should. They showed why they're undefeated, and playing the competition that they do. For division, and I believe they're in Division 4, so then they're one of the top teams, if not the top team. Just the way that they hit the ball today against the Tories.
Let's get to our top 10 for this week. Teams that are receiving votes: Carlsbad, Hilltop, and Brawley. Just outside the top 10, what can you say about these squads? It sounds like Hilltop's a very young team, and it's good, having a very good year that's promising for the future.
Yeah, Coach Reyes down in South Bay for Hilltop's got them rolling. Majority of their team is underclassmen, so and they're also in the top 3 for their for Division 3. So they'll make a run. Hopefully, make a run in Division 3 for the playoffs. Carlsbad, again, they'll probably be ranked there in the top 10 coming in. By the end of the season, they'll be one of the top teams to contend with for either the Open or Division 1. Probably Division 1. They lost some games early on. A couple games early on after starting off the season hot. But they've won a couple games recently, so hopefully they're back onto their winning ways up in the North County.
And of course, we have Brawley out in the desert, and those desert squads seem to always be able to hang around and compete with the San Diego schools, because they play some good softball out there in the Imperial County. Let's get to the bottom half of our top 10. El Cap comes in at 10, Poway at 9, Torrey Pines 8, Granite Hill 7, and Rancho Bernardo 6. Not too much moving around with all the spring breaks happening.
No, definitely not. Like I said, you got a lot of teams taking these 2 weeks off. Normally, some teams will go to Vegas for the big tournament up there. But I noticed that not a lot of the teams from San Diego are going up there this year. So hopefully they'll get back to that next year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over these next 2 weeks. That can be, as we've discussed before, pros and cons of that. Con, obviously, you have the time off, next couple weeks. Pros being also if you're injured, you hopefully get healthy.
Rest up the arms, playing almost every day. We had a lot of rain here. You got a lot of multiple, game. We got maybe 3 or 4 games a week. All of a sudden, your arm feels like jello after a couple of those games. Your legs start getting tired. I know a lot of these girls play travel ball, so they're used to playing multiple games in a weekend. But when you got that week after week after week, it could build up. So you're going to get the pros of getting rest, but you're also going to get the cons of being maybe a little rusty when that next game happens. Let's get to the top part of the top 10. Patrick Henry at 5, they're 13-2. Eastlake at 4, they're 13-3. Bonita Vista at 3, they're 8-4. San Marcos at 2 at 9-6. Mater Dei at 1 at 17-4. With both of our votes combined, we had San Marcos at 2, but you did have Bonita Vista at 2 this week. They did lose to Olympian, a big win for Olympian, but they defeated Eastlake pretty soundly. So what was your reasoning in having Bonita Vista 2?
Just because the way that they handled Eastlake, Eastlake was considered to be one of the favorites this year for CIF. With all the returning starters, beating Bonita beating Eastlake 11-1, kind of opened some eyes. But then they come back. Like we say, any given day, they lose an 8-7 game to Olympian. Congratulations to Coach Gross and his squad down in the South Bay, the Olympian Eagles. If I read this right, that's the first time that they beat Bonita Vista in school history. So big shout out and congratulations on that. It's a flip flop. San Marcos, they're 10-6 now after their win the other day. They played a lot of tough teams outside of San Diego. They probably had the top 2 toughest schedules in San Diego.
And we know how that could be thought about, and how it could be interpreted by many of media members or other people. It's like, well, we don't know that team's good, and then the other thing is, well, you don't know how great that team really is that they play, and it's all about research. And when you have to put effort in and research about some of these squads that they're playing out of county, and that's when the kind of gray area shows about. But we're here to tell you that San Marcos played a really difficult schedule, and if the teams that they played came down here, they would do very, very well
yes.
down here.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it's not taking a slight away from San Marcos. I, went back and forth, thought about it for quite a while, and but no, I mean, probably next week San Marcos might move up to number 2. So we'll see.
We'll see, indeed. The one thing that has been a consensus all year, though, is Mater Dei has been number 1. And Lexi Sosa back. She's she's healthy. She's playing like she's healthy. They're 17-4. They're dominating. They're doing a really good job. And that that Metro League down there is very tough and very competitive.
It's one of the top 3 toughest leagues in San Diego. You got Bonita Vista. You got obviously Olympian showing their grit. You got Hilltop. East Lake, and then of course Mater Dei. They just go up and just beat each other up. So we'll see how that's obviously going to help those teams to get ready for their playoff runs.
Let's take a look at the top games of the rest of this week through next week. Most of them are this week. Torrey Pines at Canyon Crest Academy tomorrow at 3:30, 11-5. Torrey travels down the road about 3 minutes to get to Canyon Crest, who's 12-4.
Yeah, Torrey Pines, they've been on a roll lately. Kyra Chan, their leadoff hitter, sets the tone for that lineup. You got Haley White in the circle. If she does well, they do well. The Falcons do well. Coach Moore, he's got his team playing well right now.
Next game on our list, we got another game in the North County. Carlsbad at San Marcos. San Marcos 10-6 now, as Adam told me right now. That game was at Thursday at 3:30, as the Lancers are 11-5-1 and travel inland to play the Knights.
Should be a good game. Let's see how the Lancers do. I believe runs will be a premium. I don't think it'll be a 1-0 score or a 2-1. I think there will probably be a 6-5, maybe 5-4, and somebody will win it late in the game. So we'll see. It should be a good game between 2 of the top teams in San Diego.
Big game in the Metro League, Bonita Vista at Mater Dei. A battle of 2 teams in our top 10 and our top 3. That game's on Friday at 4 o'clock, hosted by Mater Dei. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, you got because you said East Lake, right?
Bonita Vista.
Excuse me, Bonita Vista.
And Mater Dei.
Yeah. Bonita Vista and Mater Dei should be a real great game. Obviously, Bonita Vista, beat East Lake handily a couple weeks ago. Mater Dei's been on a roll. We'll see how Sosa does against that lineup of Bonita Vista on Friday afternoon.
You jumped the gun. East Lake is the next game that we had, so you're on the right there. Okay. Reading my mind, reading my notes, getting extra ready. East Lake, Torrey Pines.
East Lake again. That's another one. Is battle of top 2 teams in the top 10 teams in the county. Again, we'll see how that powerful lineup of East Lake does against the Falcons, and that top half of that lineup for the Falcons. If Kyra Chan can get going there, I believe the Falcons have a pretty good shot at that.
Our East County best game here is Patrick Henry at Granite Hills. These 2 teams matched up before. Henry was the team on the upper hand that time. Who gets it this time between these 2 top 10 teams from East County?
I'd have to see who's pitching for Granite, but to me, they having 2 of the top pitchers in San Diego, it can go either way. That game, I think, probably Patrick Henry again, not by much, because the last game was their previous meeting was 7-4, and I think Henry, who's been on a roll of late, they've won like 4 or 5 in a row. They won a tough one, a close one the other day against Claremont, 10-7, after leading 10-2. So we'll see about that. No, that game on Saturday will definitely be a good one.
Let's get into your shout-outs this week. Who we got?
I got Lauren Nett of Patrick Henry. She went,
5 for 8 with 3 RBIs,
4 runs, 4 doubles. Her and Desiana Patman powered that lineup of the Patriots. Also, Sadriana Rodriguez from Southwest El Centro. Big league win the other night against Imperial. She got the complete game win, 8 strikeouts, knocked in a couple runs, and also hit a home run.
Pitchers who rake.
Yeah,
out in the desert. Desert edition, pitchers who rake.
Yep. That's always excellent when the pitcher can help their own cause. Like you said, pitchers who rake. San Pasquale, they're off to a 15-9 record. That's pretty good. Villalobos doing really well for them. Also, like we were talking about earlier, Hilltop. That's another, like I said, they've done really well of late as well.
It's going to be a fun last couple of weeks here. We got the spring break pretty much ending after next week, after Easter on Sunday. We'll have one more week of spring break, and then it's all geared up, ready to go. Yeah, final sprint to the finish line.
As we say, they're making the final charge for the playoffs, and also you got league implications all within the next couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens.
Scoreboard watching season. That's what it is here in the San Diego section for softball. Adam, Paul, and Braden Suprenant. We'll see you guys next week. Keep your eyes glued to the scoreboards.